So, Lori, what do you think the director would say about the vision for this show?
I think at least for the first episode, the vision really centers on will the antagonist. So it's not really about the protagonist; it's really the antagonist story. Will the antagonist get the kid, the little boy, uh, as a 20-year-old? Will she get him to be at the hotel with her? I think that's the central driving question of the first episode is will she get her way? And then and I think the vision is really to show all the ways that she tries to get her way, but it backfiring on her because she is so stern and strict and she doesn't really have any flexibility. She doesn't really have any empathy at the beginning for the father of the kid and the kid. She just cares about getting her way. So she's coming across as if she's not gonna like budge. And I think the vision for this, at least what I think the director had in mind, is to show us like how difficult it will be for her to get her goal met, which is to get this kid as a 20 get the kid when he's 20 years old to come be the manager of the hotel. So I think that's what, and so his vision really is to show us a spectacular, you know, seduce us with this amazing hotel. So we would want to work there. We'd want to visit with these ghosts. And then show the scary part of that is like, oh, but if this was really true, I don't know if I'd want to work for this lady because she's crazy. And all these crazy ghosts are after me and I'm scared. And I don't, why would I want to work for her? Trying to she manipulated my dad. So I think it's showing the complexity of like the central driving question, which is will she get her way? And then showing us also not only the challenges but the benefits of like what would happen if you got to work at this hotel. I think the first episode is really about that, and then showing how like it's a morality show. It's like, you know, if you do a bad deed and die, do you deserve to like have your son? You know, do you deserve any second chances? And that goes for the antagonist too, Miss Jang. Does she deserve a second chance? Does she deserve to become the owner of this hotel? She's mean. She's like she's not really she's not a people person. Does she deserve to be in that? So it's creating those questions in the audience's mind. Like, is this the best person for this role? Um, are the go and then also like what would happen and showing how spectacular it could be in the afterlife. You know, you get to get pampered in this hotel and really showing us like, you know, giving us some sense of comfort that if we died, we might end up in some hotel like this in the future. And just showing all the fantastical theatrical aspects of it, the fight scenes, you know, the action oriented stuff, just making it bigger than life and making it more look like a movie, something you'd want, like just showing us a good time, entertaining us, but also bringing us down to is good versus bad, that duality. And then, so that I know it's a really long answer, but that's what I think the vision was, is just to show us like this amazing story with these very complicated characters and in a world that's just been fantastical.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, there's always those questions about, what happens when you die, where if there's a soul, where does your soul go? These are common questions that, humanity has had forever. So I mean, I think what it's really doing is speaking to that. And with what I feel like the vision is just showing you how, it might be as simple as you end up staying in this hotel, that might be the end all of your soul is in this hotel, like as I said, it's almost like a heaven, a type of heaven, because the hotel is so magical and it caters to everyone's needs. It feels like the hotel is a place of sympathy for these lost souls. And I think that's really shown by how cold she was to the guy who was a thief, you know, on for like face value, seeing it initially, I felt like, oh, she's being really cold to this person. But as you said, when you think about like, the life that he was living and the things that he was doing, he was being a very bad person, stealing from people. We don't even know if he possibly hurt some people. So it's like that's the reason why she was, I guess, felt it was okay to make that type of deal with him or for him, making him think she's sparing his life, but really it's something that she's getting out of it. And that's the only reason why she would make that deal. You have to pay the price, and she assumed he was going to steal her stuff, which he was going to, but he decided not to because he saw there's more important things going on. But the fact that he was going to steal from her, and she was like highly offended about that. This is my hotel. So yeah, I think really what the main focus is just kind of, like I said, catering to the question of what happens to my soul, what happens when I die, where do I go, and just exploring that realm.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, but I think it's more than just like showing an audience the vision of like what happens to you after you die. I also think it's, you know, morality is second chances. Do you deserve it or not? And then, also fulfilling promises that are being and commitments that you make. If you don't do it, the consequences of that. So, and in addition to that, showing us like this, comforting us as well as the hotel guests, and like this is what could happen in the afterlife. So,
Hmm.
and then on top of that, just showing us a fantastical world where that we probably want to be a part of. So I think the vision really was to make it seem like, if we walked into this set, we would be part of this amazing experience, and we get to like become warriors. We would be, showing like making every character relatable to us, but making it seem like if we were in that situation, this is how the world would look. So,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. So any final thoughts on what we
Um,
watched?
Well, one last question. What did you think some of the like structural beats were in this first episode?
Okay. So so the structural beats are like certain um elements that you need in at least a linear screenplay or script. For instance, you in the first few pages you want in the opening scenes you want to establish who the main character is, who is considered the carrier of the action of the entire screenplay. It's also the person that you're going to be attached to and hopefully find relatable. So you want to make sure that you show what their characteristics are, what their skill sets are, and what their goal is, and all the obstacles that prevent them from reaching that goal. And hopefully, you put in that if they did nothing, it would be worse than if they went after what their goal is. Or you say that if they try to reach for this goal, it would be worse than if they did nothing. So you have to decide if that's going to happen, and then have really high stakes, like something that like it's impossible for goal for them to accomplish. And so they have to draw on not only their skills, but they have to figure out a way to do it by the end of the show. Or if they don't accomplish it, the reasons why and what happens to that character. And then after that, so after the opening scene, and then you have to establish also, of course, the antagonist. It could be a person or it could be a force that prevents the character from reaching their goal. And I don't want to get too deep into this because there's a lot more to it, the opening scenes, but generally those are the basics. And then you have inciting incident, which is generally something bad happens to the character or to somebody they love, and that changes the course of their life, and they decide to take action against or revenge or something against whoever did this bad thing, generally. And so that changes. They haven't done anything so far, but they've made that decision that they're going to do something. So some crazy situation happens. And then act lock is after that, and that's just wrapping up the setup, the first 30 pages of a feature screenplay. comes sooner in like a TV pilot. I don't want to go into all the structural beats, but the act lock just is when the character steps into the journey, steps into that role of like, I'm gonna go after this goal and accomplish it. Like in Lord of the Rings, it's when they get out of the Shire. And so Sam and Frodo. And so then you have midpoint, which is the middle of the screenplay, and that's when it's full steam ahead. The characters are very immersed in accomplishing the protagonist's goal. And there's more and more obstacles that make it seem impossible that they're going to reach that goal. And then you have either the Dark Night of the Soul or All Is Lost, which is like there's like you don't think that the character is actually going to be able to pull this goal off and reach that goal. And they're really doubting themselves. But there is like there is a glimmer of hope. Something happens that shows that there might be a way out of it. And then you have the end, which is a resolution. So hopefully that clears up what the structural beats would be. In this instance, I'm going to say that I think that the inciting incident was really when the little boy, I think it's really when the dad had to give his son to, the dad made that deal with that lady, with Miss Jang. I think that, I didn't go through it to see when that happens, but I'm pretty sure that's the first major thing that is really horrible to happen to the young boy who ends up being the protagonist and it grows up to be the protagonist. So I don't want to go through all the structural beats because it would be forever, but of like how that applies to this episode. But I think that as far as the inciting incident, that's probably what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
And so final thoughts?
Actually, I had a final question and then a final thought. It's not it's a simple question. Well, it's a two-part question. One is why do you think they picked, you said Miss J or Miss J? Jane. Why do you think she was picked to run this hotel? And then
that's a spoiler.
Okay. And do you think the fact that she was picked was to be a punishment for her?
I can't answer that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I need to watch more because I'm curious
Yeah.
why she was picked, because she definitely does not seem like she wants this job. And so it feels like it is like a torture for
Right. So you got to watch
choices.
the other episodes to get that information. So
Okay.
all you out in the audience, watch the episodes. You will
Yes.
definitely find those answers.
Yes, everyone in the audience, please watch the show and watch the entire season. I am going to continue watching it. I will say for the first episode that I saw, it's amazing. It's definitely longer than I thought. I know we're used to, like with Netflix shows, 45, 50-minute mark as an episode. These are about like watching a movie. They're about an hour, a little over an hour each episode. So just be prepared to really get into it and dive into it. But the story is immaculate. The special effects are great. The characters are very like intriguing. So I will say it's gonna suck you in. I'm excited that I've started watching this show.
And what do you rate it at a scale from 1 to 10?
So far, the first episode, I give it a 10 out of 10. Like I'm loving it.
Yeah. So I love this show too. I loved like this, like for me, the standout thing was the hotel, obviously, but I also loved how they integrated the special effects with real world. Like you see them driving around, you see like them like being just normal humans, even though one of them's like in limbo, not dead or alive. You see their interactions with like going to restaurants and stores and stuff, and then at the opposite end is the supernatural stuff. So I liked how they connected and combined all of that together, and it has a really strong story. It's what do you do if your dad has decided to sell you off to this hotel because you stole from the lady, you know, and this a vase, or tried to steal a vase. So like what happens to you in your consciousness and your, you know, what happens to you in the afterlife? You know, I think all of that just, it really, it's like, it's very clearly written and very well written. So it's very, you know exactly what the story's about. And I think that's half the battle with a lot of shows, is like getting down what the protagonist wants, what the antagonist wants, and what the dilemma is going to be and what the goals are going to be. So I think that they handled all of that really well in a very engaging, fun, mystical, magical way. It's really like, you, like Carl says, it sucks you right into this story in the world, because you want to, like, it's so amazing how they did the sets, their how the costumes, and also like the dialogue is witty and clever. Everybody has a distinct voice. So it's really a well written, well directed movie, or show, I should say. It acts like a movie
Feels like a movie.
though. And I rate it a 9.5. It's really good.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us again for another episode of Cinema Roundtable.
Yes, thank you. We really appreciate all the views that we're getting. We really love doing this, and we hope to, and we will continue to do so. If you have any suggestions for us, what to watch and what to review, please leave those down in the comment section. Thank you.